Hey, what's up, y'all? I am back. I always say I'm back like I took a month off or something and it just be a couple of days. But what's up, y'all? You already know the drill. Make sure that you go to patreon.com/AdrianExpression and check everything out. Check out my podcast over there. Also, my other podcast, Ocean Kelly and I have a podcast called Relatable Content. Make sure you check out my description box for the links to that. Make sure you listen to the episodes that we put out every Monday. Also, keep an eye out because we're gonna have some interesting guests. Some cool guests on that show, so yeah, make sure that you check that out. So just a couple of quick topics today. I'm just like going off of what I think y'all will want me to talk about, so hopefully I get it right. But I want to talk about this whole Jane Campion, Venus and Serena Williams, and Critics' Choice Awards thing that was going on, child. So before I get into the mess, I just want to say that, first of all, they look beautiful as usual. Venus and Serena look beautiful as usual. They were at the Critics' Choice Award. They were talking about King Richard and congratulating the actors and stuff, Will Smith, everybody, like, and also just showing their appreciation for their performances. They were presenting over there. So that was nice to see. Beautiful, talented, you know, you already know. But someone else was there as well, Jane Campion. She actually had responded to someone, Sam Elliott, I think, saying really asshole-like, misogynist, homophobic kind of things about her movie, and she responded, and it was a good response. But then, like, the flip came when she went on to accept her award for Best Director for her film, The Power of the Dog. And in the speech, she ended up saying, and Serena and Venus were obviously there, you know, they were obviously there. In the speech, she ended up saying, "Serena and Venus, you are such marvels. However, you don't play against the guys like I have to. Almost like you don't have to deal with men in the way that I have to deal with it." And then immediately social media was dragging it. Like, they were like, "Girl, you out here a whole entire white women looking at black women's faces, talking about you don't have to compete against the guys." And then my take was like, first of all, yes, they do. They have competed against guys. They have played against guys before, but the entire structure of the systems that black women like them, have to, we talk about sports to everything, like misogyny, sexism, all that shit, they have to fight that no matter if they're, you know what I mean? Like, they have to fight that regardless, anywhere that they go. But not only do they have to fight men, they have to fight against women like Jane, like, sorry, but like, they have to fight against the women too who uphold the same kinds of standards. So it's like, it was just such a weird way to end the speech. She just like ended the speech, and this was Rena's reaction. She was just like, okay, you know, to hearing that. Cause like, what else could you do? Like, and some people were talking about how they were clapping and hugging and whatever. It's just like, yeah, girl, how many times in professional environments do black people have to make sure, just like, all right, smile and wave, you know? So Jane ended up apologizing and saying, "I made a thoughtless comment equating what I do in the film world with all that Serena Williams and Venus Williams have achieved. I did not intend to devalue these two legendary black women and world-class athletes. The fact is, the Williams sisters have actually squared off against men on the court and off. And they have both raised the bar and opened doors for what is possible for women in this world. The last thing I would ever want to do is minimize remarkable women." So I'm glad Jane apologized, and I'm glad she apologized the way that she did. I mean, you know, I'm not Venus or Serena, so I can't, you know what I mean? But I think that it is a window, like this entire experience, what she said, what Jane was saying, like, it is a window into the core beliefs of a lot of people, a lot of like women, but like a lot of people like her, like, and she called it like a thoughtless comment, and it's like, it's not thoughtless. Like, a lot of y'all really move in life like that. That's how y'all interact with black women. That's how y'all approach black women. That's how y'all approach these topics. This is the core of what y'all believe in. That's why it was so easy to say that shit just in front of everybody, in front of Venus and Serena, like, not only in front of everybody, national TV or whatever, but also in front of Venus and Serena. Like, you believe that. That's what a lot of people believe, and I hope that this situation causes people to challenge their own, you know, thought processes and beliefs, especially if they claim to be or think they are on the right side of things, on the right side of history. I just really hope it urges people to re-examine, re-evaluate how they move in the world. You know, white people, white women, the majority groups in general, in particular, just to re-examine how they move in the world, how they interact with people, how they speak about minority groups, and what their life actually looks like versus what minority people have to go through, what black women, black people, period, whatever, have to go through, right? But I thought the entire situation from the beginning, from her dragging Sam Elliott to, you know, her on that Critics' Choice Award stage, like the entire situation, to people's reaction, was just interesting to watch. All right, I'm not gonna spend too much time on music industry stuff. Just really quick stuff. Normani dropped like a snippet and also a like cover art and stuff for her single coming out, I think on Friday, called Fair. Of course, the art looks beautiful, she looks great. The snippet sounds like very R&B-ish, and I think that, of course, it's gonna sound good and soothing and stuff. I think my personal preference, what I wanted to see, I guess, but see, this is just me. This is just me personally. What I wanted to see is like something upbeat, something more poppy, especially when we're talking about the summer, something more upbeat, something poppy, something with a beat, something with, you know, that's what I wanted. But also, I just have to respect the fact that maybe she don't want to go in that, she doesn't want to go in that direction. Like, she wants to be an R&B, you know, singer. She want to do her thing like that. Do you, Normani? Like, you're supposed to do what you feel like is right for your art. But I think I'm just speaking personally. But like, Normani ain't listen to me. she can do what she wants. But I think what I wanted, maybe she'll give it to us in the future, maybe. But I wanted a high energy, like, you know, choreography, music video ass, like pop bop for the summer. So, but we'll see, we'll see. Chloe's Treat Me is coming. Megan Thee Stallion did a music video for Sweetest Pie. I think I already talked about it, but she was in Denver recently performing with Dua Lipa. I thought it was cute. What else is going on in the music industry? I don't know if this even counts. Kanye versus P and them text messages. I'm not gonna really talk about that shit, honestly. Like, at this point, like Kanye versus the world, basically. At this point, it's just, I think I've said this already. It's not funny. I just think that it's sad, like looking at the situation, it's like sad. It's just sad, right? Like, I just hope that everybody gets whatever help that they need, like, period. That's it. That's literally all I can say. No matter what is happening, no matter what new development happens with Kanye, I just hope that everybody who needs the help, who needs assistance, who needs support, who needs to calm down, who needs to sit their ass down, finds a way to do that shit. Because like, shit is getting so out of hand and so crazy that it don't even feel right to make no jokes about the shit or to poke fun at the shit. It is a sad ass situation all around. That's it. So I want to bring this up real quick. Rick Ross apparently did an interview with Dineva. I have not seen the whole thing. Been reading articles about it, and like specifically from Complex. And so Rick Ross was asked, what is your take on gay rappers like Saucy Santana perhaps coming into the game? And Rick Ross said, I'm not familiar with the name Santana, but live your life, chase your dreams, and go hard, man, go hard. Then he was asked, do you think hip hop will ever embrace the LGBT community fully? And Rick Ross responded, I believe hip hop has already embraced it without a doubt. And it is so strange to me to hear that shit, especially, I mean, I don't know a whole lot about Rick Ross's song, but from Push 'Em Over, I think he released that shit in 2009. That shit is, you could just go look at the lyrics to that shit. But even just something more recent, Meek Mill's What's Free that was released in 2018, I think Rick Ross was talking about, or alluding to 6ix9ine when he said these words. He said, screaming gang gang, now you wanna rap. Racketeering charges caught him on a tap. Looking for a bond, lawyers want a tax. Purple hair got them faggots on your back. I just think that is so interesting because you get, and obviously I'm focusing on the black community and how the black community interacts with the black LGBT community. That's what I'm focused on, right? So it's interesting when I hear these kinds of arguments because you'll bring up the issues, you'll bring up, hey, y'all, I see a lot of homophobia going on. And when you bring it up, it's almost like, no, what are y'all talking about? We accept y'all, we accept it. Y'all choose, what are y'all talking about? We accept the shit. It's the same way, like when I was younger, I would hear, it's the same thing. Where I would hear, like once Obama got elected, it's like we're living in a post-racial society. It's the same kind of attitude. It's almost like dismissive and gaslighting at the same time. Cause like, first of all, you was just saying fact, and I know that y'all do. And that's the thing. Like, bitch, I know they seen somebody like me. You niggas see somebody like me walk across the street or walk by y'all gonna have some snickering or worse to say, right? So instead of just dealing with what is in front of y'all faces and being honest with what is in a lot of the hip hop community, especially when you talk about straight people, like instead of just being honest about that shit, a lot of people, it's not just Rick Ross, a lot of people just act like, oh my God, what's the issue? Why y'all so mad? Y'all niggas get married, like what more do y'all want? So things like that are always strange for me to hear, because it's like while y'all are upholding and maintaining the homophobia in a lot of these communities, y'all are looking in gay people faces, LGBT people faces, and acting like the work is already done and we've already accepted y'all, so why y'all keep talking, kind of thing. Like that's the attitude that I'm getting from a lot of people, and I always relate it back to racism, because I feel like it's just that for some reason it's so much easier for people to comprehend. I just feel like a lot of people are more uncomfortable with being called racist than they are with racism, if that makes any sense. Like a lot of people are uncomfortable being called homophobic or biphobic or transphobic. They hate that, but they don't want to actually examine their own homophobia and transphobia and biphobia and all that shit. It's like if you want to be able to say that the hip hop community has accepted the LGBT community, the black LGBT community, and you want to be able to say that without looking like a liar, then I think that you're gonna have to do the work. You're gonna have to do the work of unlearning the bullshit and not just, saying we accept you. That's what a lot of people like to do. We accept you. But then their behaviors and actions and the people they hang around and the things they believe show that they actually don't. That they actually fucking don't. So yeah, that's what I want to say. So the last thing I want to talk about is this whole Disney walkout, and I'm approaching it from the standpoint of like, wow, there's so many companies in our lives that do such crazy, heinous shit. And I think I spoke about this before. I think a lot of times the reason why they're allowed to get away with it is because they're a big company, a big logo, a big ominous, strange company. But it's like, I think once we realize, or once we hone in on the fact that there are human beings, like I said before, making these decisions, not a fucking logo making it, it's human beings enacting these policies, I think it might be easier to challenge them, right? But like I said, from Amazon to whatever, there's so many companies that we interact with, like some people on a daily basis, that do such fucked up shit and they get away with it. And I think it's almost like the same kind of conversation that we're having, or that we just had about Rick Ross. It's almost like as long as the PR says that we're accepting, as long as the PR, as long as the marketing, as long as it visually looks like, or we're making statements saying that we accept the gay community, we accept the LGBT community, we're Black Lives Matter, whatever. As long as the PR says that, as long as it's coming out my mouth, my actions, my policies, and all that shit, and who I'm supporting, it doesn't matter as much unless you call it out. And that's why I think that as much Disney content as I consume, like, we have to be aware of what the hell is going on. And that's my opinion. So, I don't know. Hopefully that made sense. But, so I'm not sure if you remember, Disney got called out for literally monetarily, financially supporting a lot of the politicians that supported that are pushing along the Don't Say Gay, or have pushed along the Don't Say Gay legislation. But then Bob Chapek, I think that's how you pronounce his name, the CEO of Disney, came out and said, you know what, we're just not gonna donate to any politicians now. So a lot of Disney employees were not happy with that answer, which I understand. In response to Disney's actions and Chapek's emails, a number of Disney employees are now planning to stage a week of virtual 15 minutes walkout beginning this afternoon, culminating in a day-long walkout on March 22nd. In an open letter, the employees expressed their appreciation for Chapek's apology, but took to task how Disney has utterly failed to match the magnitude of the threat to LGBTQIA+ safety represented by this legislation. Just days after Chapek's email, Pixar's employees pointed out how commonplace it is for queerness to be edited out during the production process on the studio's projects, so much so that it often feels like outright anti-gay censorship. So of course the employees have demands. You're doing a protest walkout, they have demands. They said they want Disney to indefinitely cease all campaign donations to politicians involved in the creation or passage of the Don't Say Gay bill. Beyond vowing not to give money to those specific politicians, the organizers are also pushing for Disney to publicly commit to an actionable plan that protects employees based in Florida from being directly harmed by the Don't Say Gay bill. The organizers are also calling for Disney to donate to groups like the Trevor Project and to redouble its commitment to queer stories and their creators with the creation of a new in-house brand similar to the Onyx Collective that specifically is meant to focus on queer voices. This next part is from the open letter from the employees. It says, as a community, we have been forced into an impossible and unsustainable position and must now take action to convince Disney to protect employees and their families in the face of such open and unapologetic bigotry. The LGBTQIA+ community is no stranger to advocating for ourselves. Pride is a protest after all. Our community in Disney is no different, and we will show you how strong we are together. So yeah, their actions are very commendable. That is like going up against Disney, girl, going up against that crazy ass mouse. Like, whoo, child, like more power to y'all for real. I think that everything is so, like, all this shit is so complicated, it's so nuanced, but it's also just an expected development in the world, in this big ass, you're talking about a huge company like that, like, it's expected. Because I was looking into it, and you know, one of the articles that I was looking at said that, like, basically what's in it for Disney. If they paying these politicians and shit, and they over here putting out this PR and trying to act like they are for the LGBT community or whatever, it's like, what's in it for them? And the article said tax breaks. Paying politicians off, like, yeah, tax breaks. Like, so that's what you're fighting against, and that's why it looks so crazy to us. Because it's like, okay, so you're telling us, like I said before, all your PR saying, you trying to say that you for these communities, but you're donating to politicians who are actively working against said communities, and it's tax breaks. Tax breaks. So craziness. I hope that their message gets across. I hope they get all the demands that they want for their company. But the fact that we still have to do this shit in 2022 is like, wow. Wow, and they giving us pecks on the lips at the end of movies for half a second, talking about, oh yeah, gay representation, bitch, move. But yeah, that's it. I'm done talking. I love y'all so much. Make sure you check out my shit in my description box. Hope that you have a great week. Make sure that you have a good goddamn evening.